Hello, this is Mr. Huff, and I would like to talk about notes in engineering and a few ideas about goals and strategies. So, this is the culmination of a lot of thoughts after having one on one conferences with all of my students. And I realized we need to kind of cover some bases here. So, first of all, why are we going to take notes? Well, the first thing is I don't include very many lectures in my class, and you still need to know the ideas and details. Also, you need to write to learn. So you are taking notes for understanding and reference. Therefore, it needs to be legible and comprehensible to you and someone else. Another thing is when you're gathering understanding about a new topic or subject, vocabulary is king. If you don't understand the words and what they mean and why they're important, then you don't understand the topic. So if you run across something you're not familiar with, you need to wrestle with that a little bit. Another thing is research shows that if you write it down, it helps your memory because your memory is not reliable. It can only hold so much. But if you write stuff down and use it as a reference, you can retain a lot more information. The best way to memorize things is to teach people about them. And finally, this is a life skill. Being able to capture a lot of information will help you in college and later in your careers, as regardless of what you do. Some of the design requirements we developed is first of all, whenever you get notes to or some material to go through, you need to consume that content. You need to spend some time with it and get familiar with it. My target work time for notes is about 20 to 30 minutes. And I feel like this is really reasonable if you can manage it at that level. And then and that's for a week. I only do one assignment a week. I'm not giving you notes to do every night. So about 20-30 minutes is the target I want to see you working at. The whole idea is capturing big themes and vocabulary and definition. My notes are never to be word for word. Don't just copy the words. Here's what happens. You're just writing a bunch of stuff down and you're not thinking about what it means and how those ideas interact. So you need to dig deeper than that. Also, it has to include those two concept connections. To me, that's super, super important. And when you're doing diagrams, you don't have to make a masterpiece. You should be knocking those little drawings out in 20 to 60 seconds. That should be clear enough so that, and then label it so it helps you understand. The idea is to help you understand the relationship of those parts or looking at that graph or diagram. And the bottom line of all this is you need to develop a skill of summary. You need to be able to take a lot of information and reduce it to something really short. Some of the problems I have noted as we've gone through the conferences, a lot of you are having trouble identifying main ideas and supporting information. You are not asking questions that focus on the main ideas or themes, so it's making it difficult for you to sort out what is important. Another thing is that we're seeing is you're having a hard time breaking the content into manageable chunks. You know, what information is related, when is it changing ideas, and I see some of you, I have a handful of students that are spending 2 hours on the notes. That is not my intention. It never has been. Again, 20-30 minutes is what I'm shooting for. If you're spending 2 hours on your notes, it suggests that you have a focus on getting all the words and you're copying everything that you see and you're not getting down to the most meaningful information. And I also found that requiring 4 pages for my efficient note takers, it resulted in a lot of filler being generated that weren't really necessary. Some of my real efficient note takers can knock out most of the content in about 2 pages, so asking them to do 4 pages, the additional pages were just like junk. So we want to, I'm probably going to reduce or eliminate that page count requirement. I want to refer to a quote from one of my students, Matthew, who said, "The whole purpose of notes is to get what you need to get. It's not about getting all the words, it's about understanding and developing reference information." Talking to some of my high performing students, when they take notes, this is a common process that they all described. So first you're going to start with your material. It may be a slide deck, it might be an article. You have to kind of survey it and find out what's important. You're going to scan through it looking for chunks of information, themes, main ideas, and then you're going to state those themes or main ideas or develop some key questions to guide you through the note-taking process. So you do this before you start taking any notes. You've gone through it, you've kind of thought about, okay, this stuff is going to be about these big ideas, so I'm looking for these kinds of questions to answer. Then you start taking your notes, and there's two strategies here. You can either focus on finding the big themes and the main ideas and then capturing supporting details for those and new vocabulary where it relates and where it's most important, or you can generate key questions and then you develop detailed answers and then you make your own glossary of new vocabulary and functional definitions for you. I don't advocate copying the definition word for word. It's going to be much more powerful if you state that in your own words. This is what my high performing note takers do. And this was several of them, and they basically described this process over and over and over about reading, looking over it first, coming up with those things that they're trying to capture out of the notes, and then taking the notes. And I'll stop this video right here. Alright, thanks for watching. Remember, 20 to 30 minutes.